Hello, my crafty friends. So today we are going to focus on some simple stamping, and then I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can step up your card to create even more card designs. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have 3 different card ideas to share with you. One of the cards is the original card I started with, and the other 2 are a stepped up version of that original card. Now, besides the colorful card ideas that I have to share with you today, I'm also going to show you how to take that exact same design and then kind of turn it into a rustic design simply by using some neutral colors and a bit of white. The cards in this video feature the Bouquet of Thanks stamp set from Stampin Up. And I'm also using some watercolor pencils to add just a little touch of color to each of the cards. So let me show you how to make these. Okay, so let's start out with our basic designs. So this is the card that I originally created using the Bouquet of Thanks stamp set. So I'm going to show you how to create this card, and I'll show you how to do the coloring and everything. And then after this card, I'll show you how I took this same design and stepped it up to create 2 additional cards. So you're going to start with a piece of crumb cake cardstock, which is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches. And this will create the base of your card. Next, you will cut a 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece of crumb cake cardstock, and this is the one that we are going to do our stamping on. So I'm going to be using Early Espresso ink, and I'm going to take the large image from this set, and I'm just going to ink it up with the Early Espresso, and then I'm just going to stamp it in the center of this little cardstock piece. This is the 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece. And now I'm just going to take some watercolor pencils. You can use any colors you want. I just chose Old Olive for the leaves and Rich Raspberry for the flowers. And so you're really just going to lightly add some color. So I'll do that to the leaves first. And then you're going to take the Rich Raspberry or whatever color you chose, and then you're just going to add some color to the flowers. So I recommend just kind of coloring in each section versus just scribbling over the image, because it'll just define it a little bit better when you color in each section versus just, making colors all the way across. So try to color, with the grain of the image, and it'll turn out just spectacular. Okay, so that's what it looks like all colored in, and you don't have to get perfect with it. So you can leave a little bit of the crumb cake cardstock kind of showing through. It just adds a little bit more depth, and dimension to the flower. Okay, so I just added a couple dimensionals to the back of this piece, and I'm just gonna pop it up right in the center of my card front. And then for the finishing touch, you can just add a couple of pearls just to kind of dress it up. Okay, so that's it. That's the basic design that I'm going to use for the rest of the cards that I'm going to share with you today. Okay, so here is the card that I just created with all the beautiful colors. Now you can create a rustic style design as well, which is pretty much my favorite type of design. So I did the exact same florals, the exact same stamped image. The only difference is I colored in everything with a white watercolor pencil, and then I popped this up. So I created this little banner by stamping this on a scrap piece of white cardstock, and then I just cut this out by hand and just popped it up right in the spot where the stamped image is. So it's very easy to create. So whichever is your style, you can go with. So leave me a comment below and let me know, which is your style. Do you like the rustic, or do you like adding lots of different colors to your stamped images. Okay, the second card design here really plays off the first one that I just shared with you. I just added a couple different layers and used a couple different techniques to create this card. So let me show you how to make it. So again, we're starting with a piece of crumb cake cardstock for the base of our card. So it's the same for all three cards that I have to share with you today. And then this time I created a little embossed piece. So I took that 3 3/4 by 5-inch piece of crumb cake cardstock and I just embossed it using the time worn type 3D embossing folder. So I'm just adding a little bit of texture to the background. So that's the first way that I'm stepping it up. And then I still stamped and colored the image the same way that I showed you with the first card, except for this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear. You guys know I love my paper tearing. So I'm going to tear all the way around this. And you just kind of slowly tear. And you can see I'm moving my thumb along as I do this. But just kind of tear around the image that you stamped. And I just went completely around the image. So you can just tear the top or the bottom, or you can tear completely around. So whichever you want to do, whatever your style is. And you'll get a different look every time. No tear will be the same. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of early espresso ink and a little sponge, and I'm just going to sponge it on that torn spot. And this just kind of enhances that torn area and gives it, you know, a little more of that worn or antique-ish type look, which is the look that I just love. So we'll do that quick. And then you can see it just really enhances the image. It really brings it out a lot on the crumb cake cardstock background. Okay, so I just took some linen thread and I wrapped it around the front here twice. Okay, so now that we have our linen thread tied around, I just tied a little knot there, and now I'm just creating a bow. So you want to do this before you add that piece, because we're going to add that stamped and colored in flower right over the top of this linen thread. All right, so that's how that looks. So we'll just scoot these off to the side a little bit. And then this piece is gonna go right over the top. It's gonna overlap that. So I think I'm gonna just move this over just a little bit more. Okay, so I just added some dimensionals to the back of this. And then we'll just kind of scoot it up here underneath that little bow and adhere it down to our card front. All right, and then we can add our little pearls. And then we can add some pearls in the same way that we added them on that first card. Turns out just beautiful. And then of course, here's what the rustic style looks like. So it's got the white florals instead of the colored florals. Both are very gorgeous, so it just depends on your style. All right, let's look at the last card. All right, and here is the very last card that I have to share with you. So again, it's the same design, same coloring that I did. I just did it on a smaller piece of paper this time and added some designer paper. So let me show you how to make this one. So you're going to start with a piece of crumb cake cardstock for the base of your card, and I used that time-worn type embossing folder to create a little bit of texture on my card front. And then I cut a 2 by 5-inch piece of pattern paper. So this is from the Regal's Designer Series paper pack, in case you're wondering where I got this from. So this is that rich raspberry color. And then this time I stamped and colored in this image on just a little smaller size piece of cardstock. So this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches. And so I'm just going to adhere this right to my card front just so that it overlaps onto that designer paper. Okay, so I added my twine. I just tied it twice. I wrapped it twice around the card front and just tied a little bow, and then I added my pearls. So again, just a very simple card, a great way to use the original design just to create a different look. And of course, if you like a more rustic style design, with the neutral colors and the white, then you can certainly use the same layout just with some white watercolor pencils, and then of course just a popped up white greeting on the front. Okay, so there you go. Now you have 3 different card ideas that you can use with the Bouquet of Thanks stamp set or any other stamp set that you have on hand. And you also have a way to take that original design and just step it up a little bit to change the look of the card. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.